Hey there fellow musician, welcome to the vocal mixing masterclass, and in today's video I want to share the 5 most common mistakes that you need to avoid to make sure that you get a professional sounding vocal. So let's get straight into it then. Mistake number 1 is choosing the wrong type of reverb. Now a lot of people will usually pull up a plate since it is usually the most recommended reverb for vocals. They'll just pull up a plate and then start using the
wanna see what you show me. Why would I need you? I ever need you. Why would I let you just swap my peace? Why would I love you? Would I trust you? Why would I let you just swap my peace? Wanna see what you show me. Why would I need you? I ever need you. Why would I let you just swap my peace?
So obviously this reverb sounds good, but it doesn't work well for this song and this particular vocal. So what you need to do is to pull up a reverb like the mini reverb, and then it will help you choose the perfect reverb just by simply switching between the different reverbs. So let me show you how to do it. So as you can hear, from all those different reverbs, the chamber works perfectly for this vocal. So let's check it out. So as you can hear, even though I'm adding too much of the reverb, you can still hear that it fits the vocal. It enhances the voice instead of changing the character of the vocal as compared to the plate. Check it out. That's the plate. Now let's check out the chamber. So as you can hear, it enhances the vocal and make the vocal sound much more better with the instrumentation. So that's it for the reverb. Just simply choose the mini reverb and then simply choose between the different reverbs until you find the one that works perfectly for the vocals that you're working on. There's no one size fits all. And then let's move on to mistake number 2. Now mistake number 2 is EQ aggression. So like using aggressive EQ, something like this is usually recommended by most beginner tutorial YouTube engineers. So they tell you to sweep around the spectrum until you find all the problematic frequencies and then you cut them out. So something like this.
My piece, wanna see what you show me.
And then apparently you cut those frequencies and then you search again.
you, I ever need to, why would I let you disrupt my peace? Why would I love you? Would I?
And then you cut again, and then you keep doing this until you apparently remove all the problematic frequencies. Now, this is not a good idea, because what you're going to end up doing is that you're going to have a lot of narrow cuts. I'm just doing random narrow cuts here. So if you have too much narrow cuts, this will cause your vocals to be out of phase, and it will be hard for your vocal to cut through the mix. So instead of doing all of this, what you need to do is to use EQ in a more elegant way. So let me show you a good example. So you do it in stages. You don't take one EQ and do everything with one EQ. So let's find all the equalizers. And then this one. So as you can see, this is the first one, second one, third one, and then the last one. So this one is just dealing with tonal shaping. So as the vocalist keeps moving off the mic will pick up different tones. So with this EQ, I'm making sure that I keep the tone of the vocal balanced. Check it out.
Need you, I ever need to, why would I let you disrupt my peace? Why would I love you? Would I trust you? Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me?
So this helps the vocal sound much more balanced. And then the next EQ is just dealing with adding warmth and making the vocal thicker.
Why would I need you? I ever need to, why would I let you disrupt my peace? I love you. Would I?
So very basic. And then the third EQ is just all about presence.
Trust you. Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me? Why would I need you?
And then the final EQ is all about adding that brightness, and check it out.
I ever need to, why would I let you disrupt my peace? Why would I love you? Would I trust you? Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me? Why would I need you? I ever need.
So it makes the vocals sound much more brighter. So as you can see, this is a more elegant way of using EQ instead of that aggressive EQ. And then mistake number 3 is doing the same thing with the compressor. You can't have one compressor doing all the work. So let me show you how to use compression. The first compressor is all about adding warmth and making the vocal sound warmer because it has tubes. So check it out.
Why would I let you disrupt my peace? I love you. Would I trust you? Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me? Why would I need you? I ever need to. Why would I let you disrupt my peace?
This adds much more richness, and then the second compressor adds presence to the vocal. Check it out.
Why would I love you? Would I trust you? Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me?
It's a combination of two compressors to achieve two different results. The other one is making the vocals sound much more thicker, and then the other one is making sure that the vocals cut through the mix. And that's how you use compression instead of taking one compressor and making it do all the hard work. So mistake number 4 is reducing sibilance with an EQ. Usually, let's try to find some sibilance. So what you want to do, because sibilants are dynamic, you want to make sure that you use a de-esser, you don't use an EQ.
My peace, wanna see.
So as you can see, there's some sibilance here. Let's change the shape.
See what you're showing me. Why would I need you? I ever need you. Why would I let you disrupt my peace?
As you can see,
why would I love you? Would I trust you? Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me? Why would I?
So what most people would do is just to reduce the sibilants with using an EQ. The problem with this is that sibilants are dynamic, so they don't occur all the time. If you do this, then your vocals will run into a risk of sounding dull. So that's not what you want. What you want to do is to reduce them using your input gain, okay? You'll draw an automation to make sure that you reduce all the loud peaks together with the sibilants, just to control them. And then once you're done with that, then later on, you can introduce a de-esser to make sure that you take care of all the sibilants.
I need you, I ever need to. Why would I let you disrupt my peace?
So all these green highlighted areas are the sibilants, and that's how you deal with sibilants. You simply use a de-esser, and then you make sure that you control them pre-gain before hitting the de-esser. And then finally, most people don't use the limiter. This is a big mistake, because one thing about compressors is that they will bring up the transients of the vocal. Since compressors are not fast enough to catch all the transients, what you need to do is to use a limiter to make sure that you chop off all the transients, just like you do with drums. When you're mixing drums, to take care of all those transients, use a clipper. So same process applies to vocals. With vocals, you use a limiter.
Would I trust you? Why would I let you disrupt my peace? Wanna see what you're showing me? Why would I need you? I ever need to. Why would I let you disrupt my peace?
As you can see, it's not working all the time, but it's just taking care of all those peaks that the compressors obviously missed. And that's it for today's video. Those are the 5 biggest mistakes that you need to avoid to make sure that you get a professional sound. If there's anything that's confusing, leave a comment below and I'll definitely get back to you. Take good care. Cheers.